What's going on, guys? It's your guy, Professor O, coming through with a dose of that good yo. I'm everywhere like broken glass. I'm around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. I try to add a little pajing, little stop, pause motion where they try to switch it up a little. And it didn't flow too well, so, I'm going to continue back to my cool spruce, maxi, can you dig it, in my later videos. Anyway, I think you can. Keep it up now. All right, and today's topic is believe it to see it. Now, this is when you're activating that faith perspective. When you already, you want to see what you want, what you're aiming at, right? You want to see it. And this is when you really are channeling that tunnel vision. You know what I mean? When there's nothing in your head but that finished result. And all you're doing is taking the path to get there. You're moving forward. Simple as that. As you're moving forward, you're going to experience your obstacles, your trials and tribulations, etc., so forth, the distractions, the light dimmers, the people shamers. You're going to experience these things. But as you're progressing and as you're moving forward and as you're gaining momentum, etc., so forth, that tunnel vision and that speed as you're funneling through to the ending result, to that destination, it's going to become more perpetual, and it's going to get so much faster. Literally, it's going to increase in speed astronomically. It's such a great feeling. Anyway, I got the handy dandy notebook up in the spot. Don't make it hot. Again, can you see what's going on? Who writes this script? Clearly, I do. Don't be a hater, be a motivator or participator. Can you dig it? I think you can. Confidence and high self-esteem is from the ring. Now, when you're dealing with being confident or having high self-esteem, these are inside traits that, you can gain confidence from the outside, right? You can gain confidence from the clothes, from your accolades, from your assets, the things that you acquire, material things that will, in due time, will rust and perish. But true confidence and true high self-esteem comes from within, literally. That means these are godly traits that God has given in you for you to be able to feel it and be that individual. Why? Because God has planted that in you to do so. So when you are truly confident, that means you're believing in yourself. You're believing in what God has spoke about you. God's saying that you are more than a conqueror, etc., and so forth. In all trials and tribulations, you will come out successful, etc., and so forth. This is what God is speaking about you for you to be able to stand on your square. And you're standing strong on it. You're becoming a well-rounded individual. God is good all the time. Can you dig it? I think you can. So when you're operating in that situation and when you're operating in that type of mind state, your confidence is going to be skyrocketing. Your self-esteem is going to be skyrocketing. But also realize when you're dealing with confidence and high self-esteem, you want to try not to make sure those things don't turn into conceitedness and pride. Because when conceitedness kicks in and when pride leaks in, that's when your self-esteem and your confidence will be able to be dependent on the things that are outside and not the things that are within. That's why you always want to carry with you when you're gaining the confidence, when you're gaining high self-esteem, you want to carry humility. You want to carry meekness. You want to carry these things with you as well. Why? Because they will always check that confidence and that high self-esteem to keep them at a level where not only are they still elevating, but they're manageable, and you'll always realize there's someone out there that's doing it at a better level, more cooler, more smoother than you. Now, to me, always at all times, I'm looking at myself, I am sexy at all times. Can you dig it? I think you can, but I don't get it twisted for a second. I'm not the only sexiest guy out there. There's other sexy people out there that may do it sexy, but when I see me, oh yeah, can you dig it? I'm way too cool and pretty for this, but it is what it is. I always keep it at a bay. Why? Because at the same time, I know who I am. I know I'm the coolest thing to shoestrings, but there's other laces out there that's been doing it for a longer time. They've been doing it at a longer and a better time. They already bench wash and repeat it to the point that their formula is probably more potent than mine is. But I can't focus on that. Why, with all this Gandalf sexiness right here? Why focus on the outside when you can focus on the inside? Can you dig it? Yeah, I think you can. So let's move on to the topic from there. There are certain traits that are God-given, and they will help you cultivate other traits that'll complement the core trait that led into the others. Now, what I'm saying that is that when you're dealing with that core value, right? The core self, that nucleus, you know what I'm saying? It's so, how do I say it? It's to the point where everything spreads out from that point, right? For instance, God has given you a trait. Hold on, I've written this down because that point leads into this point right here. Deal with a nucleus. Like, everyone has that God-given trait where you're just naturally good at. There's people that are just naturally disciplined. Like they're just so good at sticking to their own script and being so point proven all the time. They're just really, really at that point. Like they're like that, like literally, right? And then there are those that are very charismatic, as such as myself. I would say that was a God-given trait that I just always had for years. Why? I don't know, I can't explain it. And then you also understand that you just can't explain these certain traits. You can't. Why? Because it's just you. It's just something that's about you that you just stick to. Now, the beautiful thing about this, when you're building from your charisma, or you're building from your discipline, or you're building from that nucleus, that God-given trait that's given you, because you may have some people are born with many different traits and talents. They're born with a gander. But I'm not talking about that. That's the ones that are very blessed, and God bless you for having that. Let's talk about, let's say you're just born with one, and you have this simple trait, and for me, I use mine as an example. You have this simple trait and it's charismatic. How can you use your charisma, or use your gift, or whatever trait you have, or more so I speak, how can I use my charisma to be able to gain other traits? All right, I'm very charismatic, but how can I gain discipline? Because I may be charismatic, but if I lack discipline, then it just looks like a bad example, right? Or maybe if I don't have tenacity, or maybe I'm not curious enough, or maybe I'm not brave enough, etc. so forth. How can I use my charisma to be able to gain into other traits that will be able to not only complement my natural nucleus trait, but also add to my repertoire arsenal and my personality, so now I can be able to dwell in other avenues and be able to be successful as well. How am I able to do that? Again, I'm charismatic in all aspects of my life. But this is now when I'm charismatic in all aspects of my life. This is when you're seeing when is it good to be charismatic, when isn't it good to be charismatic. And trust me, it happens in all times. People say you got to be disciplined in everything, but in certain cases you need to be lenient, because then when you're being lenient, now you're becoming a people person, because you can be disciplined on yourself, but you also got to realize just because you're disciplined at a higher level, you may not be dealing with other people that may be at that level, and they may take offense to that. I'm not ever telling you to dim your light. No, I'm not at all. But at the end of the day, your light may shine so brightly that other people may not be able to handle the rays. You know what I mean? They don't got their suntan lotions on or their sunglasses on at that time, which is totally fine. So what you got to do is just understand that certain people may not be able to handle the strength of your sun rays or the strength of your light. So you got to be able to know how to emit it at certain frequencies when you're dealing with certain individuals. That's when you're using your discipline. But now you're attuning it and tailoring it to certain situations. Again, with my charisma. How can I'm always naturally charismatic, but at the same time, it's a time and place. I could be extremely charismatic in all areas in my life, but then at the same time, I may be at court, or I may be in a library, this, that, and third. I can't be loud and charismatic and full of gusto, etc. so forth when you're in a quiet place. And you gotta also understand it's being courteous. Now, but that's also gaining a new trait. Now I'm becoming a people person. Now I'm gaining awareness, right? I'm gaining environmental awareness. Now that awareness can also be applied right back into my charisma, my charismatic attitude, or my charisma. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm varying along in many different avenues, but at the same time, I'm still proving a point to understanding that it all comes from a nucleus. Understanding who you are centrally and who you are at the core, then you'll be able to branch out in other avenues to be able to be more prominent in who you are, etc. so forth. I digress. Oh yeah, and that's it right there. That was another quick bit. Again, this message is for the adept out there, for the master, the expert, the proficient, efficient, selfish, the one that's always doing it and never losing it, that's growing at all time. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. And remember, speak good, see good, do good, because when it is good, it's all good. Can you dig it? And for the haters out there that love looking at your boy, make sure you look at my good side, because you know that I'm sexy. Can you dig it? Yeah, I think you can. And peace, love, and light. See you guys in the next video.